are you? I don't know what's going on. Sorry about that. So, I don't know why the Google Hangouts isn't working, but what I'm just going to do, I am going to share my screen so the viewers can see you.
Okay, can you hear that pushback? Can you hear that?
Yeah, so you can leave the Google chat.
Okay. Can you see me? Is that too much light?
Yes, that's perfect.
Okay.
Okay, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good, good. Sorry we're having those technical difficulties. I don't know why that link didn't work.
I don't know. I was there by myself.
Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. Because, yeah, there's other people. I don't know. I tested it before, but thank you. Thank you. So glad that you could join us. And now since I'm sharing this screen, let's see.
Congratulations on all the wonderful work you're doing. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. And I thought it would just be perfect to share your book with my audience. I think after I help them with their ACT and their scores, they really need more information about like how to go to school for free. And I mean, how to get resources for college and how to make it more affordable, especially with, prices going out of, all crazy and things like that. So if you could do us a favor and just tell us a little bit about you and what you do right now, and what was your inspiration for writing the book?
Well, I wear a couple of different hats.
Okay.
Since I'm an author now, published author and a speaker, and my nonprofit is called Fresh Perspective Seminars, and it started as a result of me on the journey to helping my son prepare for college. And it dawned on me around the time he was in the 8th grade that I really needed to take it very serious about trying to secure dollars to pay for his college. And, along the journey early on, when he was in middle school and in elementary school, I planted the seed basically telling him the significance of him getting good grades and that, I wanted him to, work hard. And, the pot at the end of the rainbow, the pot of gold was a scholarship. And
Okay.
you have to really talk about that so they have an understanding. And kids are much smarter now than I ever was, and you have to be very plain about it. And so in that journey, we just had discussions about the cost of college. So I believe that it was around the time he was at 13, I started realizing that those summers are very significant. During the summer, students have a tendency to lose a lot of knowledge if you don't keep them engaged in reading and writing and things that they learned over the school year. And we were having a talk. I've been told that this light is a little too bright. Can you see me okay?
Yeah, that's perfect. So wait, go down a little bit more. That's perfect.
Okay.
Well, that's too bright.
Is that okay? Tell me where we are.
Let me see. We're good right here. We're kind of good right here. Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So along that journey, we were having a discussion because roundabout now, parents who have middle school students middle school and high school students need to start searching for opportunities for them to be engaged during the summer. So, there are programs now that students as early as 8th grade can participate in college programs. These colleges are now looking at their classes for 2022. And so they want their students to be prepared. They want them to have a general understanding of what college life is. And for so many of children of color, they don't often have that opportunity. So we started having that discussion. And it was simple as having a discussion about what do you want to do for the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And I had missed the STEM program at the University of Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
And I was searching. I was like, okay, we missed this program again. And I had heard great things about the program. And so I said, okay, secondary in my mind was writing. And
Mm-hmm.
because, children seem to sometimes don't understand the significance of writing, no matter
Absolutely.
what field that you decide to go in.
Absolutely.
And they don't often understand that research is a part of almost any field in higher education. You will have to, begin to do research and that kind of thing. So it's important to get a command for writing.
Absolutely.
So we were having a discussion, and I asked him what did he want to do for the summer, and he indicated that he wanted to get in acting. Well, in the back of my mind, I said, well, son, if you want to get into acting, you need to study Shakespeare, which is the root of acting. And as you know, it's an important part of literature today. As always, you can be any place in the world and have a discussion about Shakespeare.
Mm-hmm.
So just on a humble, doing some research, and found a scholarship in Cambridge in the United Kingdom. And that started us on the path for global education. And I started helping him realize the importance of having a broad education across the world, not just across the country. That started the journey. And then from there is history. So that was my inspiration so far.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. You shared a great story, and it covered a lot of different, aspects of the search. But question I have is, what is the first thing you think a parent should do when they're trying to prepare their kid to get money for college?
Well, you have to have a conversation. You have
Mm-hmm.
to sit down and really come up with a plan. You have to. They're not going to really understand all of the significance of financial planning early, but you have to begin to, educate them about the cost of education and why they need to get scholarships and how much money you actually have. I mean, some
Yes.
students, they don't have a sense of what things cost. And so you need to start that. Don't wait till they're 18 years old and, they have their first credit card and they go crazy. They need to understand what college is and the cost of money. Mm-hmm. And so in our heart of hearts, we want our young people to go to college so bad, but we don't educate them about college and loans and mm-hmm. how much it costs. And mm-hmm. we have to put the pen to the paper and have them to understand. Dear, I have 3,000, 5,000, 0,000, and this is what we need to do. Mm-hmm. And this is how we're going to accomplish it. And so when you make it plain to students, they have a better understanding. But sometimes our parents have a tendency, let's just say, not to tell the entire truth because they want it to appear that mm-hmm. they're going to pay for everything. And in the end, they can't do it. Right. What parent in their right mind today at 60 should be paying for an $80,000 or $100,000 loan when they're looking towards retirement? Right. It doesn't make good business sense, and right. It doesn't make good common sense. And the problem is people don't think about it until the last minute.
Right. Absolutely. Start early. That's what I tell parents. Do you think, like, when you're looking for college money, what the student wants to major in matters? Like, does that factor in how their search should go?
Yes, I always tell students that you need to pick 3 careers. And the reason why you pick 3 careers, you need to narrow down where that career is going to be by the time you graduate. For example, if you decide you want to be a nuclear scientist and you look on the forecast for the labor market and they say nuclear scientist, you will have a tendency to make $100,000 and there'll be plenty of jobs in that field, or there'll be some jobs in that field. At least you'll start to develop the research for that job, or whatever the case may be. Or you decide you want to be a psychiatrist, or you might decide you want to be a cook. Whatever the case may be, they need to look at the forecast and see the cost of what I am going to pay for this college degree. Is it going to give me a return on investment? And so unless you have that decision in mind that you want to make you want to make as much money as you can and pay for it with the least amount of money. So the answer to your question is yes, it does matter. And sometimes students, they look at careers that will, let me just say, they're outdated.
Okay.
They need to look at new careers. There's so many new careers today.
Right.
And if you're looking in terms of an old career, if in your heart of hearts, that's what you want to do, you need to look in terms of how has that career, how has it been updated since 25 years ago? And if the people are still doing the same thing in their career, that means basically doing the same thing. There's no automation to that field. There's no technology changes. There's no production or process improvements. Then there's likely to be a problem, and those jobs might likely be phased out.
Okay. Great answer. Great answer. What are some of the most unusual places where you can like find money for college?
Well, you can find college. I always tell people, you can get a scholarship for having a left hand, but you'll be surprised. I think probably the most unusual place that you can get a scholarship would be a funeral home.
Really? Really?
Yes, because there are funeral homes that are part of associations.
Okay.
And so they want to invest in people that are going to study their field. So yes, they pull their money together and they give out scholarships for people to study mortuary science.
Interesting.
So there's scholarships for everything. Beauty products, hair products, podiatrists give out scholarships, some of everything, food companies, everything. And I tell people, it's not always about a 4.0. There are companies and organizations that are looking for students who are giving back, students who are going the extra mile. Gone are the days that it's just about a 4.0. They want to be able to look at an application and see that a student, wow, you mean to tell me they're taking a full load, they're working a part-time job, and they have the opportunity to lead an organization in a leadership position, and they're still maintaining this GPA. I mean, that speaks volume.
Right.
Not only that, corporations are also looking for their future employees. So,
right.
They want great corporate citizens who are involved. And so when students began to demonstrate those qualities as early as high school, that's very favorable.
Okay, awesome. And so what would make a strong scholarship applicant? Like what would make some
great ACT and SAT scores, of course. Great writing skills, leadership ability. I always, the point of my book, The Parent Smart Guide to Sending Your Kids to College Without Going Broke, I want to show students the importance of finding their voice. Oftentimes, students don't often realize that they have a very important story that they are waiting to tell someone about their journey. Something positive happened to them in their life. Something negative could have happened to them in their life, but it tells a story about how they persevered. So, that's one of the things that our young people, sometimes they may not think that it's an important story. So I try to bring it home to try to show how that story shows that they're a great motivated person and they have perseverance. As we know, that's what it takes to matriculate through college and to graduate.
Okay, awesome. Now, do you have services for personalized consultations to help individual students find scholarships?
As a matter of fact, we do that once or twice a year. This year, we actually have, I was inspired to write the book by my own son, and he's a U.S. diplomat. So we actually have him as working with students on a personal basis between now and the end of May. And we take probably about 3 or 4 students normally during the course of a month. And they have an opportunity to have, I encourage students to have at least 6 sessions.
Okay.
The first session is a consultation. The second session is actually I have an opportunity to learn how to write and how to tackle the essay. That writing portion is so crucial.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Absolutely.
the third session, we use that session to help them to edit the essay to make sure that it's inclusive of all the things that is important for a great essay.
Okay. And where could we learn more about those services?
Well, my phone number is 609-474-4877.
Mm-hmm.
And our website is freshperspectiveseminars.org.
Okay. Awesome. I think, let me see. I think I had my last question. So we jumped around on questions, but can we talk a little bit more about funding travel in college? Why was this important for you and your son? And why do you think other students should try to fund travel while they're in college?
Well, for students to be competitive today, you hear the importance of global education.
Mm-hmm.
It is important it's incumbent upon students to understand that the jobs are not just in Michigan and not just in Ohio and across the country. Those jobs now are available around the world.
Mm-hmm.
So students are encouraged to learn languages, and they can be a great benefit to a corporation if they know Spanish, for example, and a corporation has an office in Mexico, or they know Mandarin Chinese and they have an office in China, and you could be the correspondent in China, or you could be the manager in Japan, or whatever the case may be. It's important that these students begin to get that exposure to global travel and culture as early as high school. It's not only just, you have students now that are looking for those, you have colleges now that are looking for those students who've had that opportunity or had that exposure in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really crucial. It's important if you don't have that opportunity to travel, at least be involved in international clubs where you have the opportunity to have a nice cultural exchange with other students and to have an understanding of how those cultures, how they are, and have an understanding of, what their gross national product is, or what those major sources in that country is. All those things are important and weigh heavily on consideration for scholarships and for jobs. And so you've got to be competitive. And so, you hear about tons of foreign students coming to the United States to study.
Mm-hmm.
And when you meet those students, they've been all over the world.
Absolutely.
And they dreamed of coming to the United States their entire life.
Mm-hmm. And
they come and they live a very valuable life because they spend so much time studying. Education is very crucial in their family. It's the most important thing they can do is study. You look in terms of how United States, how we compete with other students across the world. We're not number one. We are falling short of where we used to be in the ranks. And so, we really have to push our students much more than they once may have been used to studying. We've got to push them. And parents have to understand it's about being competitive. In the end, we want them to have a great job and a great life and a great quality of life.
Absolutely. Awesome. And so thank you so much. I think that's awesome. I want you to give us, before I dive in and see if there's questions, some closing words about the scholarship search and why people should buy your book.
Well, the book, first of all, has 300 scholarships from undergrad to PhD. Okay. So I've done a lot of the work for the parents and for the students, and it's categorized in different industries. And so the significance of buying the book is that, you have a guide to some of the scholarships, you have a guide to how to prepare your essay, you have a guide to how to get college ready financially and academically, and certainly some examples of some great students who have matriculated through college and have a great career. Now, you can purchase my book on my website, and the website again is www.freshperspectiveseminars.org. And I think you also have a link on your website as well.
Yes,
right?
I have your book linked on my website, yes.
Okay,
And I'll share that with the group. Okay, great. Thank you. I'm going to check in just a second to see if there are some questions. Okay. Give me a second because we had this mix up here. Okay, so do we have any questions in the chat? I know there was somebody in the chat before. Okay, I don't see any questions. Okay, I have a book, but is there a website? So you said the website. Can you put the contact information, and I will send contact information out. So they just wanted to make sure they could contact you. Let me see. All right. Well, I think that is it. They want the only question was they wanted me to email out the contact information so they could buy your book. But thank you so much. Thank you for coming.
We'll have to do it again. Now, where are you based?
I'm in Detroit.
You're in Detroit?
Yes.
Okay. And so how long have you been doing the webinar?
So the webinars, I've been doing them for about a year now, and I do them maybe every other month.
Okay, so I'd like you to send me your information so I can post it on my website.
Okay, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, because did you know about the scholarship boot camp I did in November?
Yes, I saw it. I saw that. So that's where I first saw you, I think. No, I saw you a while ago, but.
So that's going to be our event that we do every year in Detroit.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah. So next time you do it, let me know.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, again, I enjoyed it, and thank you, and we'll talk again soon.
We'll talk soon. Thank you so much. The information has been so valuable.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Have a good one. I just want to thank you for joining us. I will send the information out through the email so you can contact Gwen. And I see who has been on, and I will send out the winners of the books tomorrow. So there are only 2 people who, I see there's more people online, but there's only 2 people who have commented in the chat. So if you want to be considered for the free book and the free ACT class, please introduce yourself in the chat, okay? So you got about like a minute or 2 to do that. So thank you for joining us, and have a good night.